is the Dean Obeidallah Show on Sirius XM Progress, Channel 127.
And I'm Dean Obeidallah. Welcome to the preview of the Dean Obeidallah Show. It's Tuesday, April 21st. I have always want to be your MBFF, especially with Ramadan coming up. And a reminder, from now to May 15th, Sirius XM is free. You have no excuse not to tune into my show. Just go to SiriusXM's the website. It says free streaming. Start streaming right there. My show, channel 127, 6 to 9 p.m. Reminder, 196. What does that mean? That's how many days is the most important election of our lives. Look, we don't have an antidote for the coronavirus, but we do have an antidote to Donald Trump. And that is November 3rd, 2020. And that's up to us. And tonight on the show, we're going to talk about a protest that inspired me. A protest that I could cheer for and support. And that was a protest of nurses today in Washington, D.C. And they were out there socially distancing, and they were holding up pictures of their fellow nurses who had died, who were trying to save people from the coronavirus. And they pleaded, the whole idea was to plead to Donald Trump, use the Defense Production Act, order the making of protective equipment. Trump won't listen. But these are the nurses and doctors on the front lines, putting their lives on the line for us, for our families, for friends who go to the hospital in these difficult times. And what a contrast to the Donald Trump supporters we're seeing and doing their selfish protests. I call them their protests that celebrate selfishness. Just like Donald Trump. I mean, Trumpism at its essence is selfishness. Now, when you take selfishness to the furthest degree, it becomes cruel. And Trump is also about cruelty. But what a contrast. You have these nurses up there simply pleading, trying to get media coverage for the fact they need more protective equipment. Sadly, the media barely covered them. But you get 100 angry white people in Phoenix or Missouri, and the media swamps there and gets there and has to cover it left and right. The stakes cannot be more different, my friends. What a contrast. Which side do you want to be on is the question. The side of these nurses who are trying to help our fellow Americans, or the Trump supporters who only care about themselves. And now we've seen that taken to a new level with the governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, yesterday, saying this Friday they're opening up gyms and hair salons and bowling alleys and tattoo places and massage centers. And then he adds, we're going to have social distancing as well. How do you social distance a haircut? Do you sit in the chair and the person cutting your hair stands 6 feet away and then talks you through it? So pick up the scissor, put it by your hair, start cutting. No, I meant the other side. It'll grow back, don't worry. Or how about the massage? How do you get a socially distanced massage? You lay there, the masseuse stands like 6 feet away and goes, okay, I'm going to talk you through a happy ending. Something along those lines. Look, you're going to open up the most socially on top of each other events. Gyms, hair salons, tattoos, bowling alleys. There's like a perfect storm of another explosion of this virus. But Brian Kemp, the Republican governor, doesn't care. He cares about making Donald Trump happy. And we've seen a real-world impact of these protests. In Kentucky, after days of protest, the governor there announced the biggest spike in new coronavirus infections. I hope things go well in Georgia. But the reality is the governor did not even tell the mayor of Atlanta or the mayor of other cities, Albany, Georgia, which had a big outbreak, did not tell them in advance. And here's the worst part. The governor's executive order does not allow the towns or counties to put in their own regulations to protect people who live there. You know, Republicans love to say they love states' rights and local rules. They do until they want to impose their will on others. So they're taking away the mayor of Atlanta's power to protect people in her own city, where they have a much bigger outbreak than the rural areas of Georgia. Why would the governor not allow cities and counties that have a higher outbreak to do more social distancing measures, and ones that have less, you can do less, but they won't, because it's about power. It's just like Donald Trump. And now we had Democrats and Republicans. We'll play it in my show. We have Republicans today, more and more trying to make this partisan. This isn't partisan. This is life and death. You know, you want to make things partisan. Look at the death. Look at what went on when you compare different administrations dealing with a pandemic. 2009, 2010, H1N1 pandemic. 12,469 Americans died on U.S. soil. The Ebola outbreak, 2014 to 2016. How many Americans died on U.S. soil? 2. That's right, 2. Brings us to this day. Coronavirus, 20,000, as of now, 2020, As of right now, over 45,000 Americans have died, and our economy is collapsing. Bottom line, presidential leadership matters. It matters, doesn't matter what administration, leadership matters. You could have Republicans, like there's some Republican governors doing a great job here. It's not left or right, it's about the people. Donald Trump has failed us, and the leadership means, his failed leadership sadly means more dead Americans. And now he's inspiring Republicans and his supporters to go on the streets and risk more of our lives. We're going to look at that on the show. We also have some great guests. Congressman Ted Lieu is going to join us live. And also, every Tuesday in the third hour, it's time for Law and Disorder. I'm joined by MSNBC legal analyst Danny Savalas. We talk about a range of legal issues, including Trump's new announcement, which is a total ban on immigrants coming to America. Now, 3 months in, you want to ban immigrants? Folks, that's just red meat for the base. But we're also going to talk about, is there any civil or criminal liability for the protesters who out there and violate social distance norms, go home, get people in their community sick, kill some? Shouldn't they be held criminally and civilly responsible for their actions? And in fact, shouldn't the governor of states like Georgia, who is disregarding the data, because there's a spike in deaths in the last 24 hours in Georgia, he's disregarding the data, experts, shouldn't there be some liability for him? And the reality is it won't be personal liability. Taxpayers will have to pay that out. But that and more on my show. Again, it's free. All the shows on SiriusXM are free from now to May 15th. So you got no excuse. You're at home. Why not? We're together at home. Go on to SiriusXM. Click on right on the front page. Just start streaming. Go to channel 127, Progress. I'll be there at 6 o'clock. Or listen now. My friend Michelangelo Signorelli is hosting right now. Listen to him. It'll lead right into my show. And I'd love to hear from you as well. Just don't listen. Be a part of the conversation. Be a part of our community. We're not alone. We're all in this together. So let's share our views. Again, SiriusXM Progress 127, 6 to 9 p.m. I hope to see you there. In fact, I hope to hear from you there after this. Thanks for watching the preview of tonight's Dino Budala Show.